Hello, dear colleagues. Welcome, thank you. My name is Michael Morgenthau. I serve on the board of directors of the Guides Association of New York City. We want to thank all of you, and especially the WFTGA, for the opportunity to bid on hosting the 2019 convention in New York City. We would also like to extend a special thank you to the Honorable Martin Meyer, who is the head of the intersection of the United States of America, for taking time to join us today.
Thank you.
Now, the IFTGA has set a very high standard for whomever is going to win the bid for 2019. We have been treated to unbelievable, inspiring hospitality. And that is really the essence of being a good tourist guide. It's all about making connections, turning strangers into friends, and making people feel like locals. New York is the perfect place to feel like a local. Why is that? We are one of the most welcoming and diverse cities on the planet. There are somebody living in New York from every city in the world. What does that mean? Every single one of you can find a place in New York where you will feel at home. And that is the theme of our convention in 2019, as you can see on the screen. Come home to New York, the city of cultural diversity. We take our responsibility very seriously as peace ambassadors, a word that's been talked a lot about this week. And we can't wait to share our city with you. Now, I want to ask a question. Many of you probably know the great highlights of New York City. Show of hands. Who knows the Statue of Liberty? How about Times Square? How about Central Park? Okay, but do you know the Catskill Mountains, or the Hudson Valley, or some of the other great cities in the Northeast? This is what we're going to introduce to you and on our pre-convention and post-convention tours. So let's start by focusing on our pre-convention tour. This is the appetizer before we get to the main course, okay? We're gonna focus on the beauty of New York State, which is so much more than the Big Apple. And in fact, when we are done, you're gonna go home singing a song we all sing here in New York. I love New York. So let's take a look. The scenic Catskill Mountains, the site of one of the most famous rock and roll concerts in US history, the famous 1969 Woodstock concert. We will visit that site. It's also home to the Corning Museum of Glass. Now, most of you have used a Corning product, probably without even knowing, because most of the cell phones, mobile phones, and flat screen TVs in the world, I should say, use Corning glass from upstate New York. The beautiful Finger Lakes region is famous for its wines, and we'll be tasting some of the award-winning wines from the Finger Lakes. We'll also explore the area's rich Native American history and visit the home of Harriet Tubman. She was born a slave, escaped, and spent the rest of her life freeing thousands of slaves during the 19th century. Niagara Falls probably doesn't need an introduction. It is stunning. It is the largest waterfall in North America, with a 51-meter drop from top to bottom. And its awesome power brings 20 million visitors a year to this part of New York State. There are other highlights that will feature in New York as well, including a visit to a Frank Lloyd Wright masterpiece, which you can see on the bottom of the screen there. We're also going to be eating some famous buffalo chicken wings from the restaurant where they were invented back in 1964. How about a visit to the Presidential Library of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt? And last but not least, a wonderful dinner at the Culinary Institute of America, the leading culinary school in the United States. Now, New York City sits halfway in between two great American cities, Boston to the north and Washington, D.C. to the south. And we're going to feature both of these cities as options for our post-convention tours. So let's start with the southern route. On our way to Washington, we're going to visit Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, as you can see right there. This is the birthplace of America. This is where the Declaration of Independence was signed in 1776 at the UNESCO World Heritage Site known as Independence Hall. It is also a great place to eat a Philly cheesesteak at the famous Reading Terminal Market, after which you can check out the great art scene in Philadelphia, either in its renowned museums or on the streets, where there are 3,000 street art murals making the city come alive. We might even make you climb the stairs, run up the stairs, just like Rocky did in the famous movie. Then we welcome you to Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. Its broad boulevards and stunning monuments serve as the backdrop for the American democracy. The perfect way to introduce Washington to all of you is by viewing its stunning monuments and memorials. Among the ones we'll see are the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, and of course the White House. Plus, we will spend lots of time at Washington's excellent museums, which cater to just about every interest you can imagine. We will also offer a guided tour of the U.S. Capitol, which will include a tour of the Library of Congress, which is the largest library in the United States. 165 million items in the collection, housed in the most beautiful building in all of Washington. That's those bottom two photos right there. Other sites we'll see: the National Archives, Mount Vernon, which is the home and final resting place of George Washington, the Supreme Court, and Arlington National Cemetery to see the gravesite of President John F. Kennedy and witness the stirring ceremony of the changing of the guard at the tomb of the unknown soldier. Now, if you'd rather go north, we have an option for you as well, and that is Boston, the Athens of America. A drive through New England will take us to Boston. When we arrive, we'll hike the Freedom Trail, which connects the great monuments and sites that led to the American Revolution. Oh, thank you very much. Is she trying to tell me something? Which led to the American Revolution, including the Boston Tea Party and the Boston Massacre. We'll zoom to the top of the Prudential Center, 52 stories up in the air to see the city lights at night. A stunning, stunning view. Now, 1 in 3 residents in Boston attends a university there, which makes it an extremely vibrant and active city. And we'll visit 2 of their most famous universities. Harvard, we'll have a guided tour there, and MIT, just 2 miles down the road, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. But Boston is not just all history and academics. It's also the most sports-crazy city in the United States. And we're going to tour the crown jewel of baseball stadiums in the US, Fenway Park, which opened the same week that the Titanic sunk in 1912. So, my friends, this is just the appetizer. Now for the main course, I'd like to call up my colleague, the legendary Ibrahima Diallo, who's going to tell you...
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for your comments. And thanks to your guests.
He's worth every inch of applause. He's going to tell you a little bit more about our hometown, New York City, where amazing things happen all the time. In fact, Ibrahima,
yes.
Right before you got to Iran,
yes.
Something quite amazing happened to you, yes?
True. You know what? I think it's best if I show you the video, because we have a video of this. So let's just do that. Let's show what happened on that tour that day.
Did we get off the wrong train station?
Feels like we're not even in America. Hey!
You are in America. This is New York, the gateway to America.
Who are you?
I am a New York City tourist guide. My profession is to show people around, make them feel comfortable, and make them feel like home.
Amazing. I didn't know that was a thing.
It is. No matter where you're from, what you believe in, whatever food you like, there is always a slice of home in New York. So, come home to New York.
Having a licensed tourist guide made all the difference in the world.
The city became alive thanks to him, and it wasn't so overwhelming.
And it was beautiful.
More beautiful than we ever would have wanted to be trying to see on our own.
There's so many people from all over the world right there in the hotel.
Questo albergo è stupendo.
Sono confusa.
You folks need a guide.
Eccomi qua. Lucio, prego. Can anyone help me?
Yes, you need a licensed tourist guide. We have tourist guides that can speak your language.
从中国人最早来到纽约的时候，已经有100多年的历史了。
Это русский православный собор. Поколение за поколением русскоязычное население буквально увеличивается. Добро пожаловать домой! Nós estamos na rua 43, conhecida como Little Brazil, no coração da cidade de Nova York.
¿Quién sabe cuántos jóvenes beisbolistas del Bronx se pararán un día frente al plato Yankee Stadium? Ven a verlos. Ven a casa, a Nueva York.
Il ponte di Verrazzano prende il nome dal grande navigatore italiano, il primo europeo ad arrivare su queste acque più di 400 anni fa.
In 1609 werd het eiland ontdekt door Henry Hudson. In 1626 werd het aangekocht door Peter Minuit.
Den danske sømandskirke kom til Brooklyn i 1883 og har siden været samlingspunkt for danskerne i USA.
Come home to New York.
Come home to New York.
Come home to New York.
Come home to New York. Come home to New York.
Come home to New York.
I will never travel without a guide again. New York has opened my eyes and changed how I see the world. But there is no way that could have happened without our guide. I would follow her anywhere.
Wait. Guys, I am very happy to see you, but I'm having a presentation right now. New York City is bidding for the 2019 WFTGA convention.
We know, that's why we're here. We want to help you.
Yes, tell us what we should do.
Well, okay, you could tell people how great the city is and maybe address some of the worries people have.
Worries? You mean like how people from other countries are going to get into the U.S. with that new president?
Yes, that's what I mean. You know, look at me. I am a Muslim. I was born in Senegal. I live and work in New York City. And if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, and you know, all we know about this president is what you get from the media.
Well, you know...
If we believed everything in the media, there wouldn't be 20 tourist guides from the U.S. in this room at this moment. So with that in mind, how do people get a visa into the U.S., especially if they've got an Iran visa in their passport now?
Well, they're gonna have to apply again, okay? But the process is simple, it's fast, it's online, and we will help you every step of the way.
But what about safety? Is it safe?
Yeah, I hear terrible stories.
Well, New York is the safest metropolitan city in the United States of America. I feel safe.
I feel safe.
I felt safe when I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but wait a minute. Didn't you say that it was supposed to be like in January when it's cold?
Well, it snows in the winter, but we go ice skating, ice sculpting, and we take beautiful pictures in the winter.
So has this organization had a convention in the United States before?
No, but they held it 5 times in Europe, twice in Africa, once in Australia, and 8 times in Asia.
But never in America?
Once in Canada, that was 20 years ago.
Well then, it's high time.
Yes, it's high time.
It's high time.
So what else can we do?
What can we do?
We can start spreading the news.
Start spreading the news!
Everyone, let's start spreading the news.
Spreading the news!
Okay.
Start spreading the news!
Don't worry, Louise, we'll be there.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray right through the very heart of it. New York, New York. I want to work in a city that doesn't sleep, and find I'm king of the hill, top of the heap. These little town blues are melting away. I'll make a brand new star of it in old New York. If I can make it there, I'll make it. Anywhere it's up to you. New York, New York.
Thank you, everybody. See you in 2019 in New York City in the 9th